and President Trump continue to shrink the government. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, February the 23rd, and what a week it was. We'll get to that in our market report, but a little bit of a market meltdown, mostly all on Friday. But there's a lot of reasons to believe that this meltdown can continue. But we'll see. But there are so many bad things out there right now going on that again don't equate to strong markets. But as we talk about the growth of government, President Trump is doing a hell of a job. It's starting to try to shrink it. If you've ever read or looked at the Constitution, it does say that government should be run city, county, state, and the federal government should be the overseer, not the largest employer in the world. So hopefully we can see, we know for a fact that we have 71 defunct organizations that are still taking on money and still have budgets. Okay, so I think that when we look at the bigger picture, we need to eliminate a lot of these stupid ass organizations that are really there just to really steal your and my money. I think that when you look at the bigger picture, government has done nothing but rip off the public, especially since the inception of the Federal Reserve, who are nothing more than a cartel and a bunch of criminals anyways. Again, think about it. Who owns it? The banks. Who benefits from it? The banks. Okay. Who has accountability for it? Well, the banks don't. Okay. So again, this is a bad deal, and hopefully there's talk of Ron Paul getting involved, and hopefully at least we would get a fair and square audit. Okay, that would be at least something nice. But when the banks melt down again, and you can bet your ass they will, I hope that we're not the assholes bailing them out once again. And I'm hoping that our president and his Treasury Secretary and others are going to take care of that business. But again, we've got Social Security that, of course, they're paying dead people. Our money is going to dead people. It's already a gigantic Ponzi scheme. Okay. Again, I've explained this before, but just a quick reminder. Social Security originally, when it was built, was fine. The average living age was 62, retirement age was 65. So they could run a Ponzi scheme because the fact that people were going to die instead of before getting benefits. But now people are living well into their 80s, and the age of Social Security should be 80. Now there's a lot of worries of what Trump is going to do with the Social Security, and he's already made it clear he is not going to take away from those. He wants to clean up the rolls. He wants to clean up the money that's being spent out there. Okay, and he wants to cut with the bullshit that we continue to see. I mean, if you're on Medicare, okay, what do the doctors do? They continue to push you from one doctor to the next doctor because all they're doing is stealing the money. I think this is, again, a problem. But again, we have to stop the thievery of people getting benefits that don't even exist. And I assure you, there are a lot of illegals that are collecting benefits that don't deserve them. But usually, when people come to this country, they're very well educated at how to scam the system. And of course, now we have talked about this for years, but it appears that Trump is going to take over the post office and try to privatize it. Look, we have no need for a post office anymore, at least not a need for the size in which it is. And I am not saying that we should fire all of the people that are working there now. I am saying that there should be a hiring freeze in the post office, and as people retire, they should not be replaced. There are too many buildings, there's too much expense, there's too much cost in running a post office when you can go in an average urban area and see that there's 10 to 12 post offices within a few mile radius. We don't need it. When's the last time you went to the post office? Again, I think that it does need to be privatized. It does need to be run as a business because I think you would find A, better service, and B, would save a lot of the taxpayers a lot of money. And of course, we now have China and the vice premier sparring with Besant. And, again, listen, I'm all for tariffs. Okay, let's be clear. Okay, many of you have said, well, it's too expensive. It's going to cost us more. I would rather pay a little bit more and take away some of China's power. I would rather have our industry in this country. I would rather have people manufacturing and building in this country, okay, so that would create more revenue, it would create more money, okay, it would create higher paying jobs. For a million reasons, I would much rather see us be in charge. And certainly, you have to be concerned that your drugs, your prescription drugs are coming from China. I mean, it's been proven that COVID was sent over, okay, almost as chemical warfare. And it's now proven that millions of COVID patients might actually be vaccine injured, okay, misdiagnosed. We were all in such a hurry to get vaccinated. And we were all in such a hurry for all this bullshit, and government and the pharmaceuticals were in such a hurry to get all this done that I think there's people that have shell shock and have the vaccine disease, never had actually COVID, okay? Student loan borrowers crushed by appeals court ruling, credit scores plunge. Listen, we have a big debt reset coming now, which is also a problem for many. And I think that student loan borrowers should not be entitled to free money to get their money back. Are you going to give me my money back that I paid for my kids to go to school? Of course not. Okay, look, you borrowed money, you went to school. That was your choice. Okay, there should be no relief, and I'm fully on board with telling them to go fuck off. Go pay your bills. Okay, quit looking for the easy way. Quit looking for government to bail you out. Okay, and of course we have the continued the Ponzi schemes that happen. Another analyst, a former CNBC analyst, found out stealing $3 million. Okay, Trump continues to fight with Zelensky, and Zelensky is nothing but a dictator piece of shit. Okay, that is taking billions and unfortunately is now off the company payroll of Biden. Okay, again, listen, is Putin any better? They're both no good. Okay, let's be clear. But Zelensky wanted this war to continue to go on because he was getting so much money from the government. But it appears that Trump has won this battle, and we're going to get the mineral rights that we needed. And of course, you've still got, amazingly, I can't understand how these sanctuary cities want to protect these gangs and these illegal criminals. Okay, but there was nearly 25 or 26 Trianteros gang members arrested in Massachusetts. Look, get them back. Send them all back. Okay, that's where I come from. Okay, if you don't belong in this country, send them back. What is the overall point of having illegals? What is the point of having an immigration system? Okay, again, you want to come in like everybody else did, come in legally. I got no problem. Welcome. But if you're going to come in and steal our money, and you're going to come in and force me to pay taxes to support you, I call bullshit. Okay? Existing home sales falling. Again, I said this about 6 or 7 months ago. Actually, it tied into when I bought my new house. And I said there's a problem in the housing market because, again, mortgage rates are too high. So it changes the existing home sales because people don't want to sell because now they're not getting the same money. But even on new construction, okay, mortgage rates in Las Vegas are 8%, but I got 2.5%, 3.5%, and 4.5%, which tells me the builders are concerned. Okay, PMI shows how much growth has stalled. Okay, so again, our growth has stalled, our production has stalled, our economy has stalled, and there's going to be more pain. Okay, consumer sentiment, people worried about tariffs. I think you're making a mistake being worried about tariffs. I think tariffs will help you in the long run. I think that, again, we need to get back into the production of our own oil. Okay, and again, we are still a net exporter, which I had lost a bet a couple years ago because I was wrong. It's the way that it was distributed was my mistake. Okay, we are still buying from OPEC and shipping our oil overseas. Okay, it should not be that way. We should take our own oil and tell OPEC to go fuck themselves. That's the way that I see it from my point of view. I think that, again, we need a smaller government. We need more fiscal responsibility. Okay, we need to get away from paying for all these ridiculous programs that have no benefit to anybody except for the people that run the programs. The grant system, the Department of Education, all should be ended, okay? Because at the end of the day, all that is thievery. So it's not only do we get ripped off from our own government, we get ripped off from the Federal Reserve, okay? Because again, go back and look. 10-year notes are 4.7% today. They were 3.5% when the Fed started cutting. And so the banks are borrowing at 1% less and lending at 1% more. Not a very good deal for Americans and borrowers. And this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, February the 23rd. We're going to stop out here for a break, and we'll be back with more in our market report right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. What up, kids? I hope everything's great. Hope you had a great week. Market's still very slow and very sucky. But again, it will pick up at some point. We saw some action Friday, but again, we have sponsors, and of course, want to bring them to you. And our brokerage partners, and I do have other brokers to give you full disclosure, but our brokerage partners, Capital Trading Group, for your futures and commodities needs. And again, I urge you all to remember one thing, okay? There's a lot of good brokers out there, but they all have specialties. Typically, if you trade both futures and equities, you should have a futures broker and an equity broker, okay? The two are never that good together. And a lot of the places I do business with, I use one or the other because I want that one. But a futures broker specializes in futures, and an options or an equity broker specializes in equities. And I have not yet seen, and there's a number out there, I'm not going to name names, but I've used them. They don't do a good job at doing both. In the meantime, Capital Trading Group, TRADIER Brokerage, $10 a month, excuse me, $10 a month saves me about $100,000 a year in commissions, okay? Plus they hook into all of our automation, and our automation as a member is free to you with the exception of the hedging, which is a licensing fee. And of course, ITM Trading for your gold and silver needs, physical metals. They're awesome. That's where I bought all my gold for years. And then there's SpookyExpress.com if you're a gambler looking for an offshore bookmaker. My good friend at Spooky Express. And of course, our high school program. Check it out. We're trying to obviously bring it back. It's hard because, unfortunately, government programs make it preventable for us because the teachers don't have to teach because of how strong their union is. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz. Let's get back to our market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horwitz, and welcome back. As of course, every week we check about the markets, and markets were down last week, but basically the whole down came on Friday. The S&P was down 100 points for the week. It's interesting. We were long all week, the S&P, and sold out Friday morning when they were higher. We are now flat, the S&P. We're flat. Actually, we're flat all four major indices right now. But we did make money on the long side, and we're out Friday, which is how the model works and how it's supposed to work. In the meantime, we'll see what they look like. They're still really in consolidation. I wouldn't get too committed that they're going up. I wouldn't get too committed that they're going down. I think you got to be very careful in here. We're in a very interesting spot, but I do believe that overall, the longer term, we will be going a little bit lower. But right now, we're still in consolidation. Even with 100 point down in the S&P, there was no damage done. In the meantime, the dollar, which we don't trade, but we would be long. The euro currency, we're flat. Bonds and notes were a little bit higher for the week. We're flat them. I will be looking to get short them here soon. That's directly correlated to interest rates. Bitcoin fluffs around. It's back down to 94,000. Got clobbered on Friday. But I think that, again, 85,000 is my target to the downside. And I think it's 85,000 to 105,000. I love Bitcoin. I think it's going higher. But again, you know that you have to be realistic and look for markets to do certain things. And a pullback, I think, would be very good. Gold, again, tried to push up once again. I think that gold is going to have a little bit of a pullback as well. Again, I like gold. I think it's going higher. But I do believe that at 2,700, just full disclosure, I'm working in order to buy at 2,713. Okay, I may never get there, but that's what I'm looking for as it stands today. But we have no position. Silver continues to try to push, and I think silver looks like it's really hot. A little bit of a pullback, but I think it looks pretty good. Platinum we don't trade, but I'd be looking to be a buyer down here, just under the 1,000 level. Copper we're still short, which had a down week. We're short the grain markets, which look pretty good, but I would expect some sort of a pullback in the meats. We don't trade them. I trade them. I have no position right now, but I'm looking for a spot to short cattle and buy hogs. Natural gas had a big pop up, and we're going to sell. We're going to extend our shorts and add on to them. I think it was a BS rally, but we'll see what happens. And crude oil, it looks like it's headed, down to 70. And I think that you might get one more pop here, but I think not the next penny. Next time we look back, I think we'll be looking in the 60s. But overall, markets are still quiet. I would be very careful. I wouldn't be in a hurry to do anything either way. I think right now you look for overextended markets and look for high probability trades just to grind out a little bit of profit. I wouldn't get overly excited with anything. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz. Let's take a break and get back with our commentary right after this final break. Bubba's Bottom Line. What up, kids? Again, I'm not going to go through the whole spiel. Remember, Capital Trading Group, Tradier Brokerage, ITM Trading, SpookyExpress.com, high school program. Again, those are all things that you should check out. Whether you use them or not, I don't care. What I give you are the things that I use myself, okay, that I share with you. I don't tell you what to do. I want you to be happy wherever it is that you want to go. But those are our sponsors. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 23rd of February. And as I opened up with the growth of government is way too big. And I think that Trump understands that. I think that we have to get away from the massive oversized government that we run, the amount of money that is spent. You have seen how much money that Doge and Elon Musk have already seen where we can save trillions of dollars. Didn't take them long to get to that target number of overpayment. But again, government was never meant or designed to be as big as it is. And of course, we've got too many criminals in politics that are basically feasting on you and me, the taxpayer, okay? And a lot of these programs, remember, there's kickbacks everywhere. There's ways to funnel money to everybody everywhere. And I'm not saying every politician is on the take somewhere, but you always have to ask yourself, how do people go into office worth $1 million and come out of office worth $30 million? I mean, did the question ever cross your mind how all these people come out and were, moderate, or even AOC, okay, who had a bartender who's now worth, I think, somewhere upwards of $3 or $4 million, okay? Again, what is she, the greatest investor in the world? Of course, they do have a lot of scamming because they can do things that you and I can't do, which they can do trade off of inside information. But the bottom line point here is government needs to be reduced. The size of government needs to be reduced. We need to get rid of all these shit departments that have nothing but that cost us money. And that's the way that I see it. I think Trump's doing a great job. Again, you may not like what he does, but I think he's doing a great job, and I think he's running the United States of America like a corporation, which I believe it is, because at the end of the day, it comes down to money. And that's the way I see it for this week. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you back here, tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update, and of course, during the rest of the week. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.